And recently we saw this news item about the premature release of Bibi Shareema Gopaul. And let me walk you through. I can't assume, I was telling CC, the teacher in me, and us, the teaching thing, and we can't assume that people are familiar with the details. So I'm going to walk you through this very briefly. Bibi Shareema Gopaul was accused of killing our daughter. She, along with a man named Jarvis Small, our boyfriend, right? They were accused of killing her daughter. This thing occurred in around September 2010. Bibi made a report on this 24th of September that our 16-year-old daughter was missing. She made a report to the police on the 24th of September that our daughter was missing. This daughter that I'm talking about, 16 years old, was a straight-A student at the Queen's College. And for those of you who don't know, Queen's College is supposed to be Guyana's top secondary school. So this girl was a bright little girl, 16 years old. Straight-A student, Queen's College. Right? All right. They reported her missing on the 24th of September. On the 2nd of October, her body was found in a suitcase on the in a creek on the Linden-Suzac Highway. And the suitcase had dumbbells or 2 dumbbells to weigh it down. But somehow, the body was discovered. Following the investigation, Bibi Shareema Gopaul and our boyfriend, Jarvis Small, who they lived together, were arrested, subsequently charged with the murder. They passed through the system, trial in front of the judge. They were found guilty of the murder in the High Court of Guyana. Bibi was sentenced to 106 years, and the guy, Small, was sentenced to 96 years in prison. They appealed to the Guyana Court of Appeal. And let me give the year. That was in 2021. So they were found guilty in 2015, March 2015. The woman sentenced Bibi for killing her daughter she was sentenced to 106 years in prison. And the Small was sentenced to 96 years. That's 2015. They appealed that. And the appeal in 2021, in August of 2021, the appeal was heard in the Guyana Appeal Court. And the appeal court confirmed the sentence, affirmed the sentence, affirmed the guilt, affirmed the conviction. However, they varied the sentence, and they bring it down from 106 to 96 to 45 years. 45 years each. Not satisfied with the High Court decision, the appeal court decision, they went to the Caribbean Court of Justice, Guyana's apex court, the final court. And in 2021, August, let me get the dates right, the CCJ, the appeal in 2021, in 2022, the CCJ handed down the decision. They quashed the conviction of Small. In other words, the man got off. And I remember that very well because I listened to the argument and the decision when our DPP made some statement and was upbraided by the chairman of the CCJ or the president, whatever is referred to, Justice Sanders, because she was making some claims, and the man had said, how can you say that? The man box you up, as we would say in police language. Anyhow, the case against Small's conviction was quashed, and the court then lowered the conviction. They affirmed the conviction and lowered the sentence of Bibi Gopaul from 45 years to 30 years. They went on to say that they were taking off 5 from the 30 for time spent on remand. The court further said, the fourth court ordered that she must serve 15 years before she became eligible for parole. 15 years before eligible for parole. Sometime last week, the news broke that the lady out since August. The lady is freed since August. And I'm going to play you a short tape in a short while. And let me play you the tape so you can gather what going on. You know. So she out from August, and hear what Gordon Mosley reports on the matter. Listen carefully, folks.
Just over a year after the Caribbean Court of Justice reduced the sentence of convicted murderer Bibi Gopaul to 30 years with eligibility for parole after 15 years, Gopaul, who was found guilty and jailed for the murder of her daughter Nisa Gopaul, has been released from prison. On Friday, when contacted on reports of Gopaul's early release, Director of Prisons Nicklin Elliott denied that she had been released and told news source that she remains in the prison system. However, when contacted today after new reports surfaced of her release, Mr. Elliott confirmed the early release and sought to explain the rationale for the release. At first, he said that she had been paroled and released from prison. But news source had earlier contacted the chairperson of the parole board, Deborah Kumar, and she said that the parole board had no role in the matter, since Gopaul's release or an application for her release was never taken before the parole board.
No, Mr. Mosley, the matter did not engage the parole board, at least not under my leadership, which commenced June 2022. So I am not aware. We have no application for that person before us, nor did the board deal with any application. Nothing. I'm just as surprised as you are.
When that information was relayed to the prison director, he changed his story and said Gopaul's release was based on other factors, including the reduced sentence, time served, remission, and good behavior. Mr. Elliott said with those factors in place, there was no need for the convicted prisoner to make an application for parole, since she was eligible for a full release, and it was that full release which was granted.
When her sentence was calculated as for prison time, correct? Yes. So the time that she spent on remand was also included in the order to be deducted. And I think our case profile is on the CCJ website. It included the clause which was attached there.
Yeah, but when these matter happens, wouldn't the case still have to appear? Because the CCJ said she would be eligible for parole after 15 years. So the parole board is saying...
No. All right. Where would she appear? They said she would appear. Where may she appear?
Before the parole board, isn't that how it works?
No, it doesn't work like that.
So then what is the purpose of the parole board? If she's up for parole, shouldn't she appear before the parole board or send an application before the parole board?
No, so providing if when we finish calculating our sentence, right? And the time remaining in prison, then the person can opt to apply for parole. But then the person's sentence, when they finish calculating, including the clause that they would have indicated, and once her sentence is up, well then there's no option for her to apply for parole because her sentence is up.
Based on the prison's calculation with the inclusion of time served and other factors, it would then mean that Gopaul's total time of remission added up to 7 years, which according to one senior prison official appeared very high. News source understands that on several occasions a total of 90 days were removed from Gopaul's sentence. Initially, 90 days were removed for her work with the prison in making face masks during the COVID-19 pandemic. But even after that project came to an end, there were a number of occasions where additional 90-day periods were removed from her sentence after being granted by prison officials. There are also reports that a new prison record was created for Gopaul with an earlier release date, thereby allowing the early release. The Nisa Gopaul murder case was a high-profile case. The teen's lifeless body was found in a suitcase dumped near a creek along the Linden-Suslike Highway back in 2010. The teen's mother and her stepfather were charged for the murder and found guilty by jury trial. However, they appealed the case at the Court of Appeal, which affirmed the convictions but reduced the sentences to 45 years each. The two took their appeal further to the Caribbean Court of Justice. The matter was heard, and in August of last year, the CCJ dismissed the conviction against the stepfather, Jarvis Small, resulting in his release. But the court affirmed the mother's conviction. However, it reduced her sentence further to 30 years in jail, with the possibility of parole after 15 years. Gopaul was quietly released by the prison service a few weeks ago and has been resettling in her Western Marara community. However, the secrecy surrounding her early release, the calculations used for the early release, and the complete shutout of the parole board have raised a number of new questions.
Of new questions. Let me see if my colleague CC can answer some of those questions. Before I go on, let me bring in CC. CC, having heard the narrative and the explanation by the director, what are your views, my friend?
They want to posit that it is a case of miscalculation, but it's a case of pure, naked, unadulterated corruption. I listened to the director, and I know him well. He was a former member of the police force, recruited and trained at the police college B division. I see that they now rename it Guyana Police Force Academy Adventure Borbees Campus. Let me go over Guyana Police Force Academy Adventure Borbees Campus. I know we're talking academy and now we're talking Borbees Campus, but put aside. But he was recruited there and trained 19138 Elliot. And I said I know him well, and he's well spoken. He can talk. But here's it. When he was asked about whether the woman was released, he went into the 51st state, a state of denial. And let me talk about the 54th state for persons who might not understand me. In the O.J. Simpson trial, the lawyer Cockrell, Johnny, he said he told the judge, Your Honor, this witness is in the 54th state, a state of denial. And the judge didn't quite understand what he said. And then he had to explain that the United States has 50 states, and Puerto Rico applied to become the 54th state, and Puerto Rico was denied. So he said the witness was in a state of denial. And here's it. The director of prison, of all persons, perhaps he behaving like the current police, he using the police tactics, lying that the woman wasn't in prison when she was sent away on the 28th of August. 28th of August, and this is November. He said, no, she's still there. For other questioning, he say, hey, that is a payroll board. The head of the payroll board saying, Deborah Kumar saying, no, this matter didn't come to us. We got no application, and we didn't think anybody. Then he started talking about calculation. So maybe, and calculation is simple. Add, subtract, divide, and multiply. Perhaps the only thing they knew well was to subtract. So they did real good subtraction. And then I remember, where the Ministry of Education had a booklet there, exercise book, and they got 312s, 26. Perhaps they use the same calculation, 312s, 26. But this thing, here is the director of prison, lied and lies and more lies. And I wondering if he was covering for anybody. If he covering for somebody, if he taking the blows for anybody, I don't know. And then if you're a director of prison, a high profile prisoner going out, you must know. No other body, not if you're a deputy director, can approve that. You the person, high profile prisoner like Gopaul, there's on your front border, that's your priority. You can't delegate that. And he's saying that the woman was there, then he talking about payroll board, then he talking about miscalculation. He lost a lot of credit. Unbelievable. And I don't and I don't know if he's covering for somebody, but the whole thing is stinking. The whole thing is